tell me that it's okay to have anger when you're mad at something. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sensitive, because I was a very sensitive child. I'm still sensitive now, but it's about how you process things, and stuff is going to happen to you. But teaching children and myself, the main thing is like, can you react or can you respond? And that's what I really needed. And so that's what I created for the children.
Welcome to Sheila's Take, your go-to podcast for thoughtful insights on love, faith, health, fitness, relationships, and navigating today's challenges through a spiritual perspective. Join me, Sheila Dunbar, as we explore various aspects of life with a mindful and godly approach. Tune in for engaging discussions on all things meaningful and transformative. Welcome back to another episode of Sheila's Take, where I dive into the lives and work of remarkable people making a difference in our world. I am your host, Sheila Dunbar, and today I'm thrilled to welcome a guest who's reimagining childhood confidence building in the digital age. Meet Coach Yana, not your typical children's coach, but a self-described big sister, cheerleader, and creativity-powered confidence coach who's created a vibrant virtual world where children ages 5 to 12 can truly flourish. Through her platform, the laptoplifecoach.com, say that 3 times, Yana has crafted something truly special, an entire digital ecosystem where kids build genuine confidence through interactive clubs, courses, original storybooks, and meditations. Parents are raving about her unique methods that blend movement, storytelling, puppets, and creativity into lessons that really connect. But I am so particularly excited to discuss her YouTube series, Journey to Imagination Land, and how she uses technology not as a passive screen experience, but as a gateway to emotional intelligence and self-expression. So whether you're a parent looking for innovative ways to support your child's emotional growth, an educator interested in creative approaches to confidence building, or simply someone who cares about how we're preparing the next generation to thrive, you are going to not want to miss this conversation. So help me welcome Coach Yana to Sheila's Take. Welcome, Coach. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for that warm introduction.
That was a metaphor, right?
It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
How are you doing?
I am doing marvelously. I'm excited to be here. I love talking. I love answering questions about what I love to do, helping the next generation of children become themselves, meeting them where they are, and just learning to enjoy who they are. So I'm excited to get the opportunity to discuss that and just run my mouth a little bit.
Well, you gonna run it today. Trust me. Now, I was really struck by something in your bio. This idea of being the person you needed when you were younger. Can you take us back to the little Yana and what was going on in her world that shapes what you do today?
Yeah, absolutely. And great start. So I had dyslexia. I also had ADHD growing up, still to this day, both of those things. And so also my parents had me when they were young. So they were kind of still growing up at the same time that I was growing up. And so there were things that there was just a gap in terms of emotional intelligence and learning how to process emotions and understanding why I felt the way I felt. And I had a lot of anger. And like my parents, and not to, I don't want to misrepresent my experience. It wasn't like my parents were some monsters or anything like that, but they were young and they had anger within themselves and just different situations. And so I had to seek out spaces when I got older to learn, like, okay, don't go off, but also don't be a doormat and then wait and go off, because I was either growing up, I was a hothead, and then I went through a phase where I wouldn't address things until I got to the point, and I'm like, all right, now I done gave you this and this and this, then this and this and this chance, and you keep 7 open lines. So now I'm going to show you what's. And so then I would turn vindictive and make it my mission to like get this person back.
Yeah.
But that's not healthy either. So it took some like evolving and some hard lessons and some hard truths and internal growth to say, okay, like, what's the best way moving forward that I can handle my emotions, that I can make it healthy, find healthy ways to process how I'm feeling about things and not just explode or not speak at all.
Yeah.
So, um, that's what I needed was someone to fill in that gap of like helping me understand why do I feel the way that I feel. And I'm likely not angry at the person who I'm showing my anger to. It's probably something else. Or even if I am showing my anger to them, it's probably something that I've been mad about for like months. And now you're just seeing
This
the
is
fire that
manifesting
came.
now.
Exactly. Like it's boiling point. Now you're finna see everything that I've been holding in. But
Yeah.
that's not healthy. And I had to apologize a lot too because I would go for the jugular immediately, like, "Oh, you overstepped," and then once I finally decided I was gonna go in, I would go too far
Mhm.
because I was holding it, and then I'm like, "Okay, now I'm on the attack," and I
Right.
wasn't seeing straight. So, I needed someone to first tell me that it's okay to have anger when you're mad at something. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sensitive because I was a
Mhm.
very sensitive child. I'm still sensitive now, but it's about how you process things and stuff is going to happen to you. But teaching children and myself, the main thing is like, can you react or can you respond? And that's what I really needed. And so that's what I created for the children.
Ooh, okay. Well, I love how you call yourself a big sister and a cheerleader for kids. So, what does that actually look like in practice when you're working with a child who's struggling?
Another great question.
I'm
So
trying. I'm trying, sister. I'm
you
trying.
you're doing the thing, okay? Let's be real. But yeah, um so the cheerleader aspect, I've been a cheerleader since well, not now anyway, but
Mm,
like throughout high school and college. And so that's just like preppy, you gotta smile and
yeah.
perform and all that type of stuff. And then the big sister, I'm the oldest. Both my parents are divorced and remarried. My dad's been remarried, like, I think 2 times now, and then my
Mhm.
mom just remarried once, and so I'm the oldest of them,
Okay.
and I'm the only one of my specific biological parents, and so, the I'm not as close with my dad's, children as I would like to be. When we see each other, it's like white on rice, like nothing passed,
Mhm.
but we're just not in close
Yeah.
proximity all the time.
Yeah.
But my siblings, with my mom, I and even with my dad, like as much as I can be there, but I really try to hone in on things that I see that maybe might because at the end of the day, like it takes a village to raise a child. And sometimes, like, because parents are so busy, rightfully so, you got all these other responsibilities going
Yeah.
on that it's
Mhm.
hard to even balance and to remember, oh, wait, this is a child I'm talking to, or this is a child I'm dealing with and get to that level. So I play mediator. I feel like all
Mhm.
big sisters do that. But I really, when I was growing up, I always told myself that I'm gonna be who I wish I had growing up for somebody else. So no matter who it is, that's always been on the front of my mind. So like when my siblings, and sometimes I have to apologize to them too, but like when they're going through stuff, I go back, okay, how did I feel when I was them? Like,
Yeah.
granted, this might not be a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but to this child, this is life or death. It might just be a YouTube channel, but to them, this is the end of the world. So I will have to get down to their level and just talk to them. And one of my sisters, because I take them out on little dates, and she was like, every time I'm with you, we have deep conversation. You're always teaching me something. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Right. That's what you're
So
there
yeah.
for. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really it. And in the classes and things now, I took that kind of on the road because I realized as much as I would like to say everybody has a big sister like me, that's not the case.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it just is what it is. But if I can create a platform, an ecosystem where children can still get access to me at all levels, whether
Mhm.
they parents can pay or not, because I have free things as well. I just want every child that needs and deserves to have that gap fill, that I can be that for them. And so I use the cheerleading and like the "you're so awesome" and da, 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 and this and that. And then I
Yeah.
also take the big sister approach. Like they know when we're in Coach Yana's club, like this is not school. This is not whatever other club you have going on. I'm not like a traditional coach because all my coaches were kind of mean. They were fun, but they were kind of mean too.
Yeah.
So this is not that. This is you can come however you're ready, whatever you have on. If you're ornery that day, you're still welcome. If you're in a good mood, you're
Still.
welcome
Yeah.
anyway. And so it's like a real chill approach to what I'm doing. Big sister vibe, cheerleader vibe.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Like there are so many coaches that work face to face, but you created this whole virtual world. And what made you to decide to go digital? And what's surprised you most about connecting with kids through a screen?
Yeah. So I'm meeting the kids where they are. And
Yeah.
like today's children, like instead of, because I used to get on my nerves, like with my siblings, like, why don't you go outside and go hang out with your friends? Like, why are you in the house? Why don't you go do this? Why don't you go do that?
Yeah.
And they just still wouldn't do it. And so I'm like, okay, if this is where these children are, and then there was like that 2020 where they weren't in school and all this type of stuff going on. And so they are comfortable on the computers. They're
Mm-hmm.
comfortable on their laptops, on their screens. Like that is where they feel the most safe, the most protected and stuff. So instead of me continuing to get upset, like, why don't y'all do like what we was doing? I'm like, okay, this is what you guys are doing. Let me find a way to be there. And it's surprising how many children, like the parents or grandparents or guardians, whatever, will come later and say, my child is shy. I'm like, yo,
Really? Yeah.
Miss Chatty Cathy over here, she's shy. Are you wishing weird did that happen? Because I never met her before. This girl had to stop talking. And so those things are sweet and surprising. And then another thing that I would say is surprising is how protective the students are of each other as
Mm-hmm.
well. And so like sometimes we have like Roblox club or whatever, we have to play in like
Wait, you
a
have what?
Roblox club.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah, the kids love Roblox.
I know.
They love
I have one
Roblox.
playing it right now.
No surprise there. I probably have some in the house too. Yeah, they love
Yeah.
Roblox. And so sometimes we have to play in a regular server because like if there's different game modes that the
Mm-hmm.
private server doesn't have. So I will never forget. This has happened a few times, but there was this one time in particular where someone in the public server thought that they should call one of my students a name, and she didn't know where she was,
Mm-hmm.
and so all these I had like they all attacked this girl, and I'm like, guys, at first I let them because they weren't doing anything crazy, but they're like,
Yeah.
hey, don't, and they're standing up for each other. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, fine. Get to the point where I had to, look, okay, guys, she's sorry, leave her alone, get over her, leave her
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
And so that is shocking that through virtual clubs, because I didn't grow up as a laptop, iPad kid. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so shocking to me that they not only are they friends and they play together outside of our clubs on Roblox, but they all came to rally for one another. And no matter what the situation is, they rally for each other. They rally for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes children might be ornery one day and other children let them know, you might not talk to Coach Yana like that or da, 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 da. And so I have to,
Mm-hmm.
and I let them because they're children. They might have a bad day. It's fine. But it's just so like every time it happens, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do we create this? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm curious, what are you noticing about kids age 5 to 12 today that feels different from when you were that age? I'm not going to say when I was that age because I know it's a big difference because I know I'm a lot older than you, but what are they dealing with that maybe you didn't have to deal with?
Well, the digital space, because
Yeah.
Roblox, I think a lot of guardians underestimate the potential dangers of
Mm,
Roblox
yeah.
because you don't know. And before, I personally thought Roblox was a space for just children. But
Yeah.
come to find out, there are people that are anybody that on the planet can have access to Roblox and
Yeah.
make a profile and be engaging with your child. And that's with all these different video games.
Mhm.
Um, so there's that. also, because of the digital experience, they know a lot more. So like I was never afraid to go to school. Like I never felt like, what if someone comes and like airs this place out? Even when we
Mhm.
had drills and potential dangers,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're locked in. Like we were scared, but it didn't make me afraid to go to school in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
every single day. But now they're inundated. There's stuff from that happens at their schools. There's stuff that happens at other people's schools. The world seems to be exploding every other day. There's all this
Mhm.
weather stuff going on, all these stresses.
Yeah.
So they have access to see not just like what's happening in their everyday space where you can be somewhat protected. Like even
Mhm.
if you go to school in a more dangerous area, it's different because it's just your space.
Yeah.
But they see the whole world of problems and they are wearing it like jackets. And it can be sad because it takes away, like chips at their innocence, little by little, little by
Yeah.
little. So they're concerned about things. I had one student, he's just mature beyond his years, honestly. He's so awesome. Um, we were talking about if what animal would you be and how would you stay that animal? And I was like, honestly, I don't know if I want to be an animal because like air conditioning, and like electricity. And then he goes, well, at least you wouldn't have to worry about the economy.
Hey, that's a good point.
Like,
That's a good point.
exactly, and it's just the fact that that's where his mind went
Yeah.
when we're playing a game. So they are so much more aware, fortunately and unfortunately, of all the
Yeah.
potential dangers that can
Yeah.
happen, that it's almost like, in a way, their maturity level and their mindset is far beyond their years because they're exposed to things that we weren't exposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is so yeah, please, I know that much. Oof. Let's talk about your methods. Puppet, storytelling, movement. Walk me through what it actually feels like for a kid to spend time with you. What happens in the first session that gets them hooked, that they want to come back?
Honestly, that's a good question, okay? I have no idea what I wish I could say that
Mm.
it was this and that and that and
Mhm.
this, but I will say I do have, like, a talent of making people feel comfortable quickly. I don't know what that's about, but, like, I can talk to anybody about anything just because 'cause
Yeah.
I'm a chatterbox. I like asking questions, and so I make sure that they feel seen, safe, and heard. I'm also I pay attention to everything. So, like their body language, if they're responding, how close they're
Mhm.
leaning in, how
Yeah.
far they're leaning back. If they seem nervous, I'll ask, like, are you feeling awkward right now? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's play a game. Like, let's not even do what we're planning. And in the game spaces, I think I have no idea. I think they're just happy to be
They're
there.
happy to be there.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I play with them too, so it's not like I'm just monitoring, and they get to the point they're like, "Coach Yana, do you like my outfit or do you like my
Yeah.
garden? And can you come look at mine?" And so I think it's just like that I'm there with them, and while I'm with them, I'm 100% there. But I have
Mhm.
that freedom because if we're in club and that's what I'm there to do, I make sure that I'm paying attention to everything. I'm monitoring how they're responding. If one of them's having off day, I'll tell the other ones like, all right, such and such doesn't want to be competitive today. Let's slow down a little
Mhm.
bit. So
Yeah.
I think it's really that they feel safe, seen, and heard. But I was even me, I'm shocked. Like when people will come back and say, "Oh, my child had this time and that," I'm like, "Oh, wait, oh,
You su
oh,
you surprised yourself, huh?
yes."
Wow, wow. Let's talk about the journey to Imagination Land, and that sounds fascinating. Where did that idea come from, and why do you think it resonates with kids?
Well, that idea came because I actually wanted to make a movie. Okay, so the first thing, I wanted to challenge myself to make a movie. And
Mm.
so I told my student, I'm like, because I also, maybe that's part of it. I like really ask them real questions. And then whatever they say, I implement it in
Mhm.
with what I do. So I'm like, okay, girl, I want to make a movie. And this is what it's gonna be like, and yada yada. And I'm also an artist. My sister is an artist. So she painted the landscapes like any in the episodes, not the digital ones, but
Mhm.
anything that looks painted, she did. And then the puppets I painted. And so she told me, she's like, my student was like, no one, you're making episodes instead. I'm like, why? You don't want to watch a movie? She's like, it's too long. And they're we need to make 100 episodes. I'm like, 100? What? And she's like, yes. And you need to post them at this time and this. And then some episodes can be like continued and da da da. So she gave me like this whole, she told
Wow.
me how the intro should end with a boom, like a big bang. And then I showed her the intro. She hated it, but I kept it anyway because I thought it was cool. And I can't sing very well. So AI has to sing for right now. And then it really also turned because I'm like, okay, I gotta put something out there that's like unique and different. And I don't have like a lot of like I'm not rolling in dough either. So I
Mhm.
gotta figure out what I already have that I
Yeah.
can turn into something. So after that conversation, suddenly the cardboard from Amazon boxes looked like it could be used for something, you
Woo!
know?
Yeah.
And so the puppets on there are all made out of recycled cardboards. The backgrounds that my sister painted landscapes on are boxes, like literal,
Mhm.
like the one, and I think it's the second episode where Clementine gets taken up into the sky because she doesn't have her boots on or whatever. That you can even see in the box, like the picture of the
Mhm.
background, you can see the cutout. I mean, the what are those things like when they scan it for packages?
Oh, the
If you look
barcode.
closely, yeah, you can see the barcode on the box. It's there.
Wow.
But I
Yeah.
kept it because I'm like, this is a part of the story, and
Mhm.
the reality is that you only have access to what you have access to, and so I had to find a way to make the most out of my tools, and
Yeah.
so suddenly, with that idea of I'm not making a movie now, I might make one later, but I gotta finish my 100 episodes.
How many episodes are you up to right now?
Fine.
Oh, you better get cracking, and you got
Yes.
you got quite a bit to go.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what happens there, but, it was one of
Yeah.
those things where
Yeah.
this is what they said to do,
Mhm.
and who better to tell me what needs to happen than the students
Yeah.
who love what I'm doing already. So that's how that came about, and really, like I said, it was like, okay, what do I already have access to, and how can I turn that into something new?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. You know, you know how sometimes kids have these massive meltdowns or just shut down completely?
Mhm.
What's your go-to approach when a child is in the middle of big emotions like that?
Yeah. So I think the first thing, granted, I have not had that situation in my clubs. So I'm
Mhm.
coming from a hypothetical
Yeah.
space and like working with my siblings. So the first thing, I let them have their big emotion and I try not to like cut in or tell them like I don't make their emotion based on their worth.
Mhm.
Because sometimes in like how I was taught kind of thing, like if you mess up, like you're bad. But it wasn't intentional. It was just that's how I received what I was being told or what the
Yeah.
actions were.
Yeah.
It's like if you do something wrong, it means that you're bad. So I have to also remember and remind it's more about what I do than what they do. And like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm the adult here. I'm the one who's older. So maybe even I need to step away so I don't say something I regret or say
Right.
something out of anger. And my mom always said like she doesn't hit children out of anger. So I don't talk to children out of anger
Mhm.
either. And
Yeah.
so I might need to step away, get myself together. And then after I'm collected, then I'll go and say, hey, you know, and hopefully they might still be crying or whatever.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then we try to like switch it up. Like, okay, if they're not ready to talk about what's going on, children are easy to be distracted. So like if it's like, okay, what you want to go for a walk really quick? Hey, are you sure? I mean, it feels good outside. And if you come with me for a walk,
Yeah.
I'll bribe you. Maybe I'll get you some Talkies. And that usually
Mhm.
works. Kids love
Yeah.
Talkies.
They love those Takis.
Yes, as hot as those things are, they love them. I'm eating that too, so I can't even say nothing. But I try to like
Yeah.
distract from the initial emotion and the initial like what's going on. And
Mhm.
then in a calm space, I'll take them, just them, and say, like, okay, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm
Yeah.
I'm very to the point and blunt, but also not as blunt as I would be to an adult. So I'm like, okay, like, and they might say, well, nothing, but I'm like, okay, well, you saying that, but
Mm-hmm.
clearly that's not true. So, why did you behave that way? And if they're not ready to talk about it, then we just have fun. And then
Yeah.
I just come back again later, like, hey, what's going on? What's happening? And I
Mm-hmm.
just say, like, probe lightly, but just if you as the adult are not in a mental space where you can calmly have the conversation, because I grew up, my parents used to yell a lot too, and
Mm-hmm.
that's no shade, no hate, and I'm not trying to be mean or be rude, but it's just the truth. And so
Yeah.
for me, when I got yelled at, I would just glaze over. Like at that point, anything you say, even now as an adult, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody yells at me,
Mm.
my ears, everything turns off, and I'm no
Yeah.
longer listening because I don't communicate that way, and it causes me to shut down, and I just don't do well with a lot of yelling. I've never done well in that. So, I just try to make sure that I'm calm before engaging and see if they're ready to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not ready to talk about it, we can do something fun. Sometimes also children just have to get it out. Like, let them cry, go to your room, cry,
Mm-hmm.
wash your face, and then after you wash your face, my mom always say, wash your face after you stop crying. Wash your face and come back, and then let's see what we can do together.
Right.
And guardians and adults have to also, if your child's response is something that you don't like, it doesn't mean they're wrong. It might be offensive. It
Mm-hmm.
might be harsh, but you have to remember that's a child. And
Yeah.
and usually, as hard as it is to hear, children mimic the behavior they see. So if you talk to your child disrespectfully and then their response to you is something disrespectful, the first thing you have to do is analyze, well, how have I talked to
After you
them?
talk to them, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not always the nicest thing to hear, but it's true. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have to give them the space to say and let them feel safe enough to be like, okay, you know what? This is why I'm upset. And then even if you don't agree with it, just listen.
Yeah.
Let them get it out. And then you can say, okay, I understand where you're coming from. And I apologize for making
Mm-hmm.
you feel this way. And this is where I was coming from.
Yeah.
And then just have that dialogue and get it out and let them tell you what's going on. Because if you don't, they will start hiding stuff. And then before
Mm-hmm.
you know it, you got a real big problem when they become like teenager, like 16, 17, 18, when stuff can go wrong and there's all these different things that can happen
Yeah.
with teenagers, and it's
Yeah.
already challenging when the line of communication is open.
It's
I was a
open. Yeah.
challenging teen, and I had open line of communication. I was still challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if they feel comfortable enough to tell you what's going on when they're younger, and even it's not too late, no matter what age they are, really. But if they feel comfortable enough to really tell you, like, hey, I didn't like when you did X, Y, and Z. And even if it offends you and it makes you upset, just remember, at least they told
They
you.
told you
And yeah,
exactly.
and if
Yeah.
your goal is to help them become confident, if they can confidently come and tell you how they feel about things, then okay, I'm doing a good job, or
Yeah.
I'm doing this right, because then they have the space. And the last thing, I know I'm going on about
No,
this, but
no, go ahead.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
I told you
Then
you can talk.
oh,
You
right,
can get
right,
ahead and
right.
talk.
Right. You
That's what the interview is for. Go
fair
ahead.
enough. Thank you. So the last part I'll say too is I had a relative once. We were talking, and he was telling me how basically he didn't mean to hurt his child's feelings.
Mhm.
And he was like, well, my mom did X, Y, and Z to me, and I only did X. I don't understand why she's upset. And so I was like, okay, well, first of all, she's not you, number one. And you did that, to me shows that you improved something so that she doesn't take
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. She knows that X is wrong, even if it didn't come with Y and Z. And you protected her so much that she never had to deal with Y and Z. And
Yeah.
that's amazing. But it doesn't mean that X didn't hurt. Period. Whether you meant to hurt her feelings or not, you still did it. It doesn't matter what you meant to do, it's what you did. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you're bad. Everybody messes up.
Mhm.
I need
Yeah.
to apologize to my siblings
Mhm.
often, not
And
all
I
the time.
and listen, me too to my son.
Right.
Yeah, I do. Please, are you kidding me?
Right. And that's what we have to do. And so with him, he
Yeah.
just kept saying, oh, well, my my parents did this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, I understand that, but you protected her, which is good. So she doesn't have to deal with those things, but she also now has a higher standard of treatment because of
Right.
how good of a job you did at making sure that she didn't have even a sliver of his
Mhm.
experience. Thank
Yeah.
goodness. But because of that, she's not going to take the same amount of trauma that you took and you endured because you were taught, unfortunately, that that's what he deserved. But
Right.
you know that that's not what you deserve. So you created a new experience for her. So you have to give her that grace to know, number one, you did something right because she's upset about X and she didn't get Y and Z. So you did
Right.
something right. But you also in that have to remember you're not horrible for messing up or if making her feel bad. That's just a part of life. But she's also not in the wrong for holding you accountable because you did X.
You exactly.
So
Yeah, that's right. My husband, he says this a lot, and I'm quite sure you get this question a lot. When we talked about my son playing Roblox, and we're in this age, like you said, the digital age, where the kids are on the computer, they're on the phones, they're on everything imaginable. But I know you must get this question: isn't more screen time the last thing kids need? How do you respond to parents who worry about that?
well, I agree, and that's why I have workbooks, I agree, I agree,
Yeah.
and this is where we are right now. So, I feel like it's better for me 'cause, that reminds me of this athletic director. She's since passed, and she had such a remarkable, um, piece in my life. So I remember I used to tell her stuff that was going on my
Mhm.
team and like just like, oh, you need to fix this, miss. You need to fix this and that. And she's always telling me, okay, well, this is how you can fix it. How you can fix it. And then one day I'm like, do you realize I'm coming to you so you can fix these things? Like, why do you keep telling me what to do? And then she said, well, Yana, you're the only one here. You're the only one who cares enough to try to fix it. So you have to fix it. I was like, "What?"
What kind of nonsense? What is that? No, me.
So that has stuck with me my entire life since she said it. And so I also think that they have more than enough screen time and I wish that they would do other things. The issue is though that they're not interested in other things right now. And so at least I can be a safe space on those digital things. And I'm hoping that through the digital stuff, it will like help them lean into the other stuff. Like, okay, even if we're doing digital, maybe we don't have to play Roblox. Maybe we can
Yeah.
do art club. And then
Mhm.
that's a little bit less. And then from there, maybe you can do the workbook. And that's a little bit less.
Yeah.
And well, that's a lot less because there's no screen time on
Right.
workbook. So I would tell parents, and guardians, grandparents, whoever, I agree with you. I totally, you're not going to get any battle out of me.
Yeah.
And though like, even the Guardians, they all signed them up for the video game clubs. That's not the only clubs that I have, but those are the only clubs that consistently have people in it. So I would
Mhm.
also say, like, what are you doing to get your kid off the game? Just
Yeah.
because that's what they wanna do, like, doesn't mean you have to do it all the time, but I get
Mhm.
it too. Like, parents are busy, guardians are busy. There's
Yeah.
so much going on, and sometimes it's easier not to, like, argue with your child. It's like, "Okay, fine, stay on the game." So if that's the case, at least I can be there and create a safe
Yeah.
space. But with that being said, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Imma tell you, if I take my son's phone or his I don't even take the computer, I take his keyboard.
Oh,
You would think the
yeah.
world is coming to an end.
Yeah.
I mean literally. If the world is coming to an end if you take one of those things from them, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so l- we're having this conversation 5 years from now. What would you hope to tell me about the laptop life coach that has grown or
Mm-mm.
changed?
And I've never been asked that question actually. Um, in 5 years, I would hope that I have to really think about that. I would just hope that at some point, because let's see, the oldest child that I have now is kind of like 12 or something.
Mhm.
And that would make them like 17. So I would hope that I would have teenage clubs. Because right now I have the young children because that's who's on outdoor right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I would hope that the guardians of these children would be so like, wait, we don't want to leave. Like, would you
Yeah.
mind? Would you mind doing this? Would you mind doing that? And at that time, I would probably be doing more of like the self-paced things. Just would
Mm-hmm.
hope that that would be going, but I would never stop doing my clubs because I just love the interaction. So I would hope that at that point I would have teenage groups, maybe like young adult prepping for life type stuff because I'm really so dedicated to seeing them grow
Yeah.
and evolve. And so I would hope that the children that I'm working with now, they're guarding like, wait, we don't want to leave. Can you open this?
Oh, and it's so funny you say that because that was my next question. Like, as the kids grow up and hit those tween and teen years. So that was my next question. You already answered it, so I don't even have to ask it. Look at that. Look at that.
Period.
So one of the things I started doing is I call it my lightning round.
All right then.
Okay. And I started doing it this season where I'm gonna ask like some questions. I know I've been asking a bunch of questions already, but I'm gonna ask some quick questions and I want you to give me, you know, your answer.
Okay.
Okay. So you
All
ready?
right. I'm ready. Let's
All
do
right, all
it.
right. First children's book that pops into your head for helping a kid through a tough day.
Taking control of my circumstances, unfinished stories, something like that, but that kind of way.
Okay. Which proper character do the anxious kids connect with the most?
Oh, right here.
Hmm? Ooh, which character is that?
This is Fred, the green monster. He's crazy. They love him.
Okay, strangest place you've been when a great coaching idea hit you.
Sleeping.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dreaming.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's good. What childhood moment do you wish you could go back and handle differently now that you have all these tools?
Now that's a laundry list, but I could say this one time I had watched the South Park episode in 6th grade, and they had this thing. I felt so bad about it. Called this is a long story short. I like made a rude joke to my favorite teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and but he handled it so gracefully, and that's how I handle my students. And so I ended up apologizing, and he accepted my apology, and it was just the best thing. But
Yeah.
I beat myself up about it because I felt like I was bad for hurting his feelings.
Oh,
But I apologized. He even said, like, "I'm glad you apologized. You owned up to it, and we moved on." And he was done with it. And he was just that kind of guy. But I still felt horrible for years afterwards. So I would have,
really?
yeah, gone back to
Oh,
that younger self and said, "Hey, you're a child. You messed up. You didn't even mean to. You thought you saw it from a TV show, so you were just recreating what you saw. But you apologized when you realized he didn't like it, and
mm-hmm.
move on. Don't beat
Yeah,
yourself up
yeah.
about it."
Oh, wow. So, do you have a favorite moment or physical activity that you see instantly that will shift the kid's energy?
When they finally believe me when I say like, "Oh, you're so X, Y, and Z." Like because at first they're like, "I don't know you." Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when they care about what I say, they all do this little I call it like a nose twitch. And I see them sit up and like, "Oh, okay." So that
Okay. Besides your own platform, what app or digital tool do you actually recommend to parents?
I would say Roblox. Play with
Really?
them though. Yeah. Monitored, supervised, and if you play with them, children will tell you their whole life, every single thing happening in their life if you play Roblox with them.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Monitored though, for
I
sure.
did not see. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. If I asked your kids to describe Coach Yana in 3 words, what would they say?
Let's say funny, corny, because I love corny jokes, and caring.
Ooh. I see that. I see that. I definitely see that. What do you think most adults completely misunderstand about children's emotions?
that they are children, not little adults, and their brains literally aren't finished developing. So, like, with things that we see, even my own siblings, I'd be like, that is not a big deal. But to them, it's the end of the world. But just remembering, like, they are not little adults,
Yeah.
they are children. Even teenagers are just big size children.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth. Let me finish with this. Complete the sentence. I know my work is making a difference when I see a child who what?
Comes out of their shell.
Does what?
And whatever that means for them. Comes out of their shell, and whatever that
Yeah.
means for them.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, okay. Oh, I like that. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy my lightning round?
Yes, I did. I suited
Good.
up.
I'm going to ask you this question, and I always ask at um towards the end of the interview. First of all, what do you have going on now? What can we expect in the future?
Well, more because I'm right there with you on trying to get the kids off screen time. So
Mhm.
more workbooks, and workbooks that are culturally impactful. Like one
Mhm.
of my girls' name is Jakayla. Another girl's name, she's a book about like Indian history and like this little doll. Um, so I want to make sure that children of all ethnic backgrounds
Mm.
see themselves, not
Yeah.
only just looks, but like your names. There's nothing wrong with having an apostrophe in your name. There's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with having multiple capital letters. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with having a name that other people can't pronounce, whatever
Mhm.
that means. And um, also wanting them to realize as much as being an athlete is great or being a celebrity is fun and things,
Mhm.
you can be more than in somebody else's entertainment. You can
Yeah.
be a law changer. You can be a dentist. You can be,
Mhm.
I don't know, you can be a, I don't know, a stop sign
You
holder,
could be the
whatever.
president of the United States. Hello.
Exactly. Exactly. You can be
Yeah.
more than entertainment for other people, whatever that looks like. So that is what I'm trying to focus on is getting the children in those spaces. So hopefully they can help change the world because it needs some loving.
Yeah, it sure do. Coach Yana, Yana, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for you and this conversation. Honestly, I'm grateful for the students, the experience. I'm grateful for my parents and just everything in life. And truthfully, I'm grateful for all my traumas and all the
Yeah.
hard things because there were so many times when I thought it was over. I was like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, I'm never going to
Yeah.
get out of this. But
Yeah.
every single one of those things has helped me to be able to create this for these children. And would I want to go through some of this stuff again? No,
No.
never, never, ever, never, never. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But I'm
Yeah.
grateful for like every experience that I've had and even some that I don't want to do again.
Yeah. Oh. Any first of all, you have any final thoughts?
Well, this was wonderful, first of all. That's the main thing. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed your questions. I enjoyed the conversation, your
Yes.
vibe.
Well, thank
And
you.
yeah, I just think, I just loved it. So that's what I really wanted to
Well,
say.
I had a good time too. I enjoyed it because there's so many things that our children are dealing with in this day and age, and like you said, it's different for what you dealt with is definitely different from when I grew up. We didn't even have the internet. So there were so many things that they're dealing with now, and to have someone like you to help them with it and navigate it, and that's such a blessing. And I want you to share with my listeners all of your information, your handles. Give them that right now so we have it. And I'm also going to put them in my show notes. But please, if they want to reach out to you, let us know how to do that.
Alrighty. So, my websites, everything, and the handles are all the laptop life coach dot com is the website, but the laptop life coach on all social media platforms. And if you want to reach out, the best thing to do would be email, honestly. I might see a DM on Instagram, but I'm not gonna promise that. But I see all the emails.
Okay. And I'm gonna have all your information. I'm gonna get all your information to make sure they're in the show notes. And I thank you, Coach Yana. I thank you so much for being on Sheila's Take and sharing your time with us. And you are a blessing. And I
Oh,
pray that you continue to just touch lives because you're getting them at an age was very impressionable and you're helping them. And it is such a blessing. And I thank you for that. As a parent, I thank you for that.
oh, thank
Yeah. And to my listeners out there, if you're a parent or a teacher or anyone who cares about children, I hope this conversation has given you some fresh ideas and perhaps a new perspective on how we can support kids in their emotional journeys. I also, again, you can find Coach Yana's platform, her YouTube. Y'all have all all that information in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate it, share it with someone who might benefit.
yes.
Until next time, I'm Sheila reminding you that sometimes the most important conversations are the ones we have with the children in our lives. I thank you so much for listening, and please be blessed. Until next time, remember to embrace the journey, build lasting connections, and step boldly into all that life has in store for you. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.